Hey guys, welcome to the editing video. So Mark wanted to make this a little bit more challenging, like if we were pitch side. So the editing of each picture needs to be under 4 minutes. So here I am, I came pitch side. So this is as far as I go, pitch side. It's not like I can go to an actual pitch, but here I am, I got my bag, and it's time to do some editing. So Mark, are you ready? Let's do this. Okay, so this picture was submitted by Jerry. And the first thing I noticed right away is the cropping. I want to remove this little truck here, but there's no easy to do this because as soon as I start bringing the crop in, the truck is still there, and I'm gonna start cutting off this guy's head. So the way to fix this, so to speak, would be to go vertical, portrait mode. I'm gonna use this cement thing here as my horizon. I'm gonna bring in just a little bit and check, still level. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Now to try to bring it under 4 minutes is going to be a challenge, but I'm going to try to do it. Removing chromatic aberration, enabling lens profile. I believe you shot with a Nikon. Okay, so now let's start editing the picture. The colors look quite good already, but let's see the highlights. Pressing J. You see when you press J, you can see what's clipping. So in red are the parts that are clipping. If it had underexposed parts, it would be in blue. Okay, nonetheless, I'm still gonna try to recover this a little bit. That's why shooting in RAW helps a lot, because the stuff you can recover in RAW is so much better, so much more information. Okay, so I'm just working on the shadows, on the whites, moving on to the blacks as well. And you know, one way to edit, I guess, is you can just go crazy and you look at the histogram at the top. You see it changing, and you can look at the picture itself. So if you want to go all the way and then dial it back, that's a good way to edit too. I mean, by all means, editing is personal preference, right? There's no right or wrong. It's just some people prefer to edit one way, some people prefer it another way. Now for clarity, I like to zoom in on the face just to see the change. Let's go all in. You see, that's way too much in my opinion, so I'm gonna bring it slightly down. Okay, let's about there. Yeah, okay. Now it's still clipping a little bit, but it's not too much. Okay, let's keep going down to the other one. Saturation, vibrance. Vibrance, okay. Saturation, let me just remove the clipping right now. Yeah, okay, that looks good. Now that water, I think I want to use a radial filter there. Hold on. Let's see if that makes it any better. Now when you use one, keep in mind you need to check which one is selected. Okay, in this case I want to go for the exposure, not -4 stops though. Just a slight, and change the tint a little bit. No, that's not doing much. Hold on. Yeah, okay. Temperature. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Maybe a little bit darker. Yeah, okay. That looks good. Now the exposure overall could be a little bit brightened up. Okay, yeah, I think I'm happy with that. Let's see the before and after. So before, obviously without the crop, right? Because I had to crop it. So this would be the before. This would be the after. If you want to turn the lights off, just press L twice. And if you want to go full screen, just press F. Wait for it to load. So this would be my final image for this specific picture. Press F again to go back to Lightroom. And I think I made it just under 4 minutes. Okay, so that's my edit done. Now back to you, Mark.
Spot on, David. Right, let's have a go at this.
Something a bit different here with a bit of a question. Thanks for sending this in. This is from Jerry Shanahan.
Not sure where it was taken. Obviously, horse trials, big horse trials somewhere by the looks of it. But anyway, looks like Jerry's took it on his Nikon D4, 200mm, ISO 250, f3.5 at 1600th. So let's have a crack at this one. Well, straight away, I think we'd all agree it needs to be a portrait crop. Probably going to go quite tight. Again, probably quite central. I might just leave the horse's bum here with a little bit more space this side because he's jumping in. That splash is dead central. Got to go by the feet really. Same sort of gap, top to bottom. So let's have a look at that. Right, I'm just looking at this, the horizon. Let's just take it that way a tad, because I think I'm going to go with the water splash backboard there. But you see, you've got the backboard that's now slightly off. Now I've altered it, but yet this post, this pillar, is still leaning in. So what do you go? I'm going to go by the backboard. So I'm just going to take that back a little bit to about there. That's it. Not an awful lot to do with this one, to be fair. Let's just have a look. Yeah, we've got a good straight there. I'm just going to give it a bit of sharpening. First off. No, not smart sharp, your Wally. Getting carried away. Racing against David. Right, let's just go out on that and see how we're looking. I'm going to go to 1.5 instead on that. 1.5. That's okay. Good colours anyway, really good colours. Let's go into camera raw and see what we can do. Don't think it needs much exposure really, no. We'll leave it about there. Say it's a really good punchy frame already this. Not a lot needs doing to it, to be fair. Bring the shadows out a bit perhaps. Whites. Obviously, we're looking at his sleeves. That's what's going to burn out first. We don't want to lose any of his sleeves or anything, so leave that about there. Blacks. Not a lot of that. Right, let's have a look at the clarity. Give it a bit of punch. Bring that water out a bit. Vibrance, well, I don't think colour-wise we need to even mess, really. I think it's pretty good colour-wise. So Command Alt Z will take it back. Command Shift Z, bring it forward again. Yep. Let's just check for any spots or anything. Looks like Jerry keeps his sensor nice and clean. Yeah, looks good that. That'd look good in the papers, that would. Job's a good one. Job's a good one. Over to you, David.
Okay, so this one was submitted by Everton. Now, the first thing I noticed right away is the cropping. I'm going to need to change that quite a bit, which is a shame because it's going to go in to the car so much that I'm going to have a hard time leaving the car in. So one trick, I guess, in this case would be to change the aspect ratio so that there's not much space above to the side of the car, so we can straighten it a little bit more. Okay, now straightening the horizon in this case is very easy because there's tons and tons of lines. Okay, so 16:9, this would be the crop that I would do. Now let's go immediately to the lens correction, chromatic aberration. What did you shoot this with again? Let's see. I'm losing time here. Canon. Okay, let's go. Canon. I don't know why it didn't detect automatically, to be honest with you, but it doesn't matter. Now let's go back to the develop module. Okay, exposure definitely underexposed in my opinion. Let's go up. Okay, that's starting to look better. Now contrast. I like there's so many colors here, so let's make use of that. Let's abuse the contrast. Now, is anything clipping? Yes it is. Okay, you see here in red, it's not too much though, so it's not like it matters that much. I mean, it's the reflection from the sun most likely. So yeah, there's not much you can do about that. So, but we can still bring the highlights down. Let's see the changes. Okay, you see as I go down, they go down a little bit, not too much, but they go down. Let's see the whites. Yeah, you see when I bring down the whites, it goes away, the clipping. But let's not change this just yet. Okay. So, highlights first. Yeah. Now shadows. Yeah, it's quite the wheels especially. I want to bring some detail back on that. Whites. No, I'm gonna leave the whites as they are, I think. Blacks. Okay. Alright, now I want some texture here, no clarity. No, actually, let's leave it out. Okay, so now what else could I do to this picture? Maybe the vibrance a little bit. Sorry if you hear the fans of my computer. I don't think it's liking these edits too much, but because I'm recording what I'm seeing as well. I think what else I could do to this picture would be maybe to give it some vignetting, so that I would have to bring in the focus to the car a little bit more. Now you have the preset ones, which are located here on the left panel, and those usually do a pretty good job. So without any vignetting, that's heavy. This is medium. I'm quite happy with medium, to be honest. I think this would be me done with this picture. So lights out twice, L, just so that you don't have any distractions. F to go full screen. Yep, and this is how I would edit this picture. Let's go to the next one.
Right, this is a nice frame. Nice bit of speed in this one. This is from Everton Murray. Thanks for sending it in, Everton. Taken at Silverstone back in September last year at the British Touring Car Championships. Looks like he took it on his 5D Mark III, 275mm, ISO 100, f16 at 80th. So nice frame this. See if we can make this a bit punchier. Thanks, Everton. Let's have a go. Right. I've seen lots of motorsport images that do have angles, but I think with this one we've got to do it justice and make it look even faster. So I'm going to bring it round. Now if I bring it round with this current crop to level it out, it's not going to work on the 7x5. I'm going to get rid of that 5 and I'm just going to crush it down a bit. No, I don't want to move you. Let's just bring the car central, and now just take that out. I'd like to keep that shadow in, but no, we're not going to be able to, so we'll have to just lose the shadow. Now, as I've said in the past, always give a moving vehicle more space to move into, or a moving person, or horse, or whatever, like the snowboarder I just did. So let's just take that down to about there. Might be able to use a bit of yeah, that looks okay. Just going to take that in a little bit more space in the front. Right, let's get that, before we go any more with the crop, let's just get that nice and level. That'll do. I think I'll use the content, I'm going to leave it at that. I think I'm going to use the content aware to get rid of these bits. I think that looks about okay. Right, let's crop that. Lovely job. Come on, zoom in, Lappy. Quite does not like the screen recording this laptop. So what I'm going to do first is hit the L key, and then I'm just going to use my content aware tool to fix these corners. So shift, delete. We've got content aware. Okay, it should fill that nicely, and it has. And the same with the top. A little bit of cheating, I know, but shift, delete, enter. Deselect that. So I hit the shift, the delete key there instead of the I'm just going to cheat a bit and use the clone tool there. That's better. And then I'm just going to try and blend it a bit just by giving it a little dodge. Where's the darker area? About there. That'll do. I'm happy with that. No one will ever know. Right. So I'm going to give it a bit of sharpening first. So down to unsharp mask. Let's leave it at that for now. So I'm going to go with 2 on that one. Right, let's go out again. Into Camera Raw. Just got some nice options in Camera Raw. Lots more than you would just on your standard edit. So I always go into Camera Raw first. So let's give it a bit of exposure there. That's bringing it out now. It's bringing it out. That's nice. Bit of contrast. Give it a bit of depth. Yeah, that's nice. Not sure on the highlights. Again, all I do is just move the arrow left to right until it looks right to the eye. Shadows. Not too many shadows, but that looks about right. Whites. We almost know what that's going to affect. That's about there. Don't think we'll do much with the blacks. No, let's leave it at that right clarity. Let's give it some punch. Let's bring this car to life. That's nice. I'm liking that. Now colours. Just look at the vibrance. Let's go past. Yeah, that's nice. Bringing that red out nicely. And the yellows on the car. It's bringing them out nice. Just go for saturation a little bit. Let's have a look at that. Wow. Just the job that. So that's before. Camera Raw. That's after. I'm quite happy with that. How we're looking sharpening wise. Yeah, don't want to overdo it. So I'm just going to do my FN and the F key again. Actually, I might just take the levels down a little bit. Yeah, I'm happy with that. That can go for saving. Off it goes.
Okay, and this one was submitted by Pascal, a snowboarding picture. Now, I don't know who these people are, but I think it's cool. Maybe a tribute. I have no idea, but I want to keep them in the picture. Now, I have no idea how to fix the horizon on this one, so I'm gonna assume that nobody knows. And I'm just gonna go like this. Now, I want to keep both these posters here and this little bit of snow that's coming off. Do you see that? So yeah, and to keep the dude on the snowboard in the rule of thirds, this is why I'm cropping it like this. So cropping's done. Now let's go to the lens correction and removing chromatic aberration. I still think that he's quite dark, but we'll get to that. Let's just go in a little bit first. Okay, temperature wise, it looks okay. All right, so clipping, no clipping. Okay, even here. All right, just about then. Right, so what else can we do? Highlights. Editing snow for me is a challenge. I'll be honest with you. Plus, I'm not used to it, so once you're not used to editing something, it takes a while to get into the rhythm. Like football pictures for me, or camogie or hurling, those are the easy ones to do. Yeah, but you know, practice, and you get there. Okay, in blacks. Okay, so you see that he is being brought up quite a bit, the exposure, without actually changing the exposure itself. So I like his face. Look at that. He knows he's being photographed. That's kind of cool. That's very, very cool. Now, with snow or rain or haze, you need hail even, sorry. you need to be careful with how much clarity you give, because then it's going to start looking very, very unnatural. Okay, saturation, just a little bit, maybe 10. Okay, and I want to bring this little snow thing a bit more into focus. So I'm going to use a radial filter here with the exposure. So once again, change this to the exposure. No, not 4 stops. Maybe 80. Yeah, okay. So yeah, I think this is it. Once again, under 4 minutes, I'm getting faster. Mark, how are you doing? Are you doing well? Let's see the before and after. So before, obviously remember the before and after in Lightroom doesn't show you the original crop, just the changes that you did to the actual picture. So once again, before, this is after. Let's go full screen. So you can see this would be the way I would edit this picture. That's a very cool look he has. Cool.
Pascal Kesselmark, hope I pronounced that right, Pascal. He's from Switzerland, and this image was taken at the snowboard event called Sudden Rush Banked Slalom. That took place in Lax. Looks like he took it on his 1DX. What we've got, 85mm ISO 400, f5.6 at 5000th, and it looks nice and sharp. So let's have a go at this one. First I'm going to go for the crop, I think. Now then, obviously, I don't know, are these two posters, are they in memory? But I think if I'm thinking of the papers, if I'm thinking of getting it sent off, let's just go. I'm going to take that fence straight out, I think. Go for a nice tight crop. Let's have a look at that. How's that going? Bring it in a little bit. So we know which way he's going. Obviously his eyes are looking this way. Give him a little bit more space. Might just bring it in a little bit more. Take it down a bit. Go as tight as we can, just looking at this post here. Just a little bit more. Same sort of gap, top to bottom. Right, let's crop that. Horizon looks alright, the trees look good. Right, I'm going to go straight into camera raw. Let's see if we can bring this border out a little bit. Let's give him a bit of exposure. Let's use the light off that. Don't want to burn out any of that snow. Going for the highlight shadows. Let's bring the, yeah, that looks better. That looks better. Let's not get too grainy, but we can really use the light off the snow. So that looks nice, that. Let's just check the whites. I'm just keeping an eye on this area here. Don't want to burn this area out here. And this snow here. So let's just have a look at these whites. We'll just go to about there. Blacks, that's just going to do his shadows a bit. We'll leave it about there, I think. So that's looking alright. Don't know if it looks a bit yellow. Let's just... Oh, that's too much blue. That's about it. Right, clarity. This is really going to... Yeah, that's nice. Really going to bring him to life. Give it a load of punch. See his tongue sticking out there. Saturation, can we get a bit of colour in his face? Yeah. Just watching, I'm looking at the reds on here and the yellows in these trees. And obviously his face. That's about right, that, I think. This area still looks okay. Right, that's alright. Happy with that. Now one trick that I do, I use the FN key and the F key on the Mac anyway. And it takes the Photoshop menus away, and it just gives you a bit of a better backdrop to check out the image. That looks nice. I'm quite happy with that. Let's just double check there. Yeah, that's looking okay. I don't think we need any sharpening. Just try a little bit into filter and sharp mask. No, too much now. Too much. No, I don't think we need any sharpening on that one. I think that's good enough. Yeah. Happy with that, I think. Super dupe. Hope you're happy with that, Pascal. Right, I've set up an action, so we'll get that saved.
Okay, and this one was submitted by Liam. So, Man City, at the Capital One final in 2016. This was the winning penalty, I believe. So first things first, I'm going to start by cropping in, and I'm going to use the grass on the back and maybe one of the poles on the goal to level it as best as I can. Now, I don't want to lose any of the players, even though the ones on the back are quite out of focus. They're still celebrating, so I want to be able to capture both the ones in the back and the ones in the front. So this would look like the cropping that I would use. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Okay, exposure wise, it does feel a little underexposed. Okay, so I'm gonna raise it, and obviously as you're editing, you can always go back and re-edit. So change the settings that you change while you're doing the edit. Let's go see what's clipping. Okay, you see here it's not too much right now, so we're okay. You can always look at the histogram too, so that's not a problem. Alrighty, so highlights. Let's bring them down quite a bit, I think. Okay, shadows. It's a little bit of noise, but that's okay. I mean, plus we're cropped in quite a bit, so the more you go in, the more you start noticing the noise. Okay. Whoop. That's way too much. Okay. Now, do I want to give it clarity? Yeah, it's a little noisy already. I don't want to abuse it too much. Okay, vibrance. No, I don't think so. Or maybe. I don't know. That's the thing. When you're editing, just play with the settings. You don't know if you're going to like it or not, but don't just hesitate. You have nothing to lose. So just play with those settings. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, just double click and it goes back to 0. And if you want to reset the whole panel, just double click the word above. Okay, so I forgot the chromatic aberration lens profile. Oh, Sigma. Okay. Now, let's review the image. The white balance seems a little off. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, just a little bit, not too much. So I think I'd be happy with that. I mean, the noise, there's not much you can do. I mean, just looking at the crop, look how cropped in we are. So yeah, so lights out twice L. If you want to go full screen, that would be my edit. It is a little bit noisy, yes, but yeah, that's what you get. Press F again, go back to Lightroom, and that's me done under 4 minutes again. Yes, let's go.
So we got loads of football images in, but this one just caught our eye because it looks quite tricky because of the celebration in the background, yet there's a bit in the foreground and plenty to go at here. So this is a frame from Liam McAvoy. Thanks for sending it in, Liam. Taken at Wembley. Ironically, I was behind the rear digital boards there, just out of Liam's frame. Ironically, I was there as well for this game. This is after the penalty shootout, where I think this is Yaya Toure in the foreground that scored the winning goal. Yet they're all the players are celebrating with the goalkeeper, but I think he kept him in the penalty shootout, the keeper did. So two lots of celebrations going on here, so quite an interesting frame. But looks like Liam took it on his 1DX, 120mm, ISO 4000, f4 at 800th of a second shutter speed. So let's have a go at this one.
Right, first off, we'll give it a crop. Now, I'd love to keep this in. And I think if I was sending to the papers, I'd just give it a little crop. And I'd let them decide. I'd probably send it like that, to be fair. Just get Yaya Toure central. And I would actually send it like that. Let's just look at this goalpost. Let's get the horizon right. So let's go by the goalpost and have a look. Let's bring it around a bit. That looks okay. So yeah, I think if I was So you got your thirds here, so you got 1, 2, 3. A little bit of a gap here, but nothing we can do with that. So I'd have probably sent it like that to the papers, a crop like that, to keep this in, because that's quite important, really. I might just bring it in a little bit more. Something like that. Take it up a bit. In fact, I think I'm going to leave it like that because I like the way that that's in there. You could go really tight, but if you go any tighter, it's going to bring this gap into play, I think. So I might leave it at that. Yeah, I'm going to leave it like that. Right, that's the crop done. Let's just have a look. Do we need any sharpening? Just go into camera raw for a minute. We'll do the colours separately, I think. We don't want to lose the shorts. Give it a bit of green in the grass. Highlights, we'll take the highlights down a bit. Them shorts are pretty bright. Always a nightmare on football players, all this shiny kit that they wear nowadays. Whites, we'll leave the whites there, blacks. We'll leave it about there. Clarity, let's have a look. Give it a bit of punch. Not too much. I might give it a little bit of sharpness, so we'll go with 10 at the minute. Colour wise, tell you what, let's just go and just change it. Wembley's a pain for turning your frames, a bit like West Ham. Sometimes get green frames for some odd reason, I don't know why. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of blue, but then I'm going to try and give it a bit of, not too much red, but if you go past, look, you've gone, that's too far now, so let's go with 15 on that. Just have a look at the mid-tones, but brings the crowd's faces out a bit. Not too much though. That's too much, so we'll go with 10 on that, I think. Let's go plus 10 on that. Just have a quick look at the blues. No, we'll leave that at 0, I think. Shadows, again, I'm just going to see if I can warm it up a little bit. Nah, too much. Let's go with 2. That's okay, that. Right, that's looking okay. I'll just see if it does need a little bit of sharpening, I'm not sure. Perhaps 1. We'll just go down to 1 for that. Let's just do the FN and the F key and just have a look at that. That's not looking too bad colour wise. So that red just brings out the crowd a bit, brings out the skin tones. Keeper's, I know he's quite a pale chap and he's still not looking too red, so that's okay. Let's just go into highlights again. Too much. I don't want to turn these shorts too magenta really, or too red should I say. Just going to go into levels. Just take that down a bit. Yeah, I'm definitely going to keep that capital 1 in. Yeah, quite happy with that. Just check for spots. I don't think there's any spots anywhere. Liam obviously keeps his sensor nice and clean. Yeah, job's a good one. I'm quite happy with that. Hopefully you are, Liam. Be interesting to see how you edited that one. Tricky one, that. There's lots going on, so it's a tricky one. And plus you've got the Capital One Cup final on the digital board halfway up the stands. And I think it's nice to leave that in. Again, I'd send it to the papers like this. If they want to crop in, let them crop in. But that's how I would leave it. So job's a good one.
Okay, so this one was submitted by Ian McGuinness. Let's just see. Okay, Canon 7D. Okay, let's go to the develop module. Let's enable. Yeah, it's switching to Sigma. I don't know why it's switching to Sigma. It should switch to Canon. I have no idea what's going on. It should automatically apply the correct correction. If anybody knows what's going on, let me know. Alright, so first things first, underexposed. Let's just bring it up first. And now the other thing that pops immediately is the white balance seems to be way off. So let's take a look at the white. I assume that's a white shirt and the white thing that she has on her jersey. So let's move the temperature to make it look a bit more natural. Okay, maybe around there, perhaps. Yeah. Okay, it's a bit noisy, but I love the fact that she's looking straight at you. And she failed, apparently. I don't know. Red flag, I think that means she failed, didn't she? Okay, so we bring it in. Now, I want to keep that guy, so maybe I'm going to frame it just a little bit here. And now for the horizon, I'm going to look at where the sand begins. So I'm not going to have to do that much straightening, to be honest. If any at all. Maybe bring it in just a little bit like that. So she's in the rule of thirds. So I'm quite happy with that. So now contrast, let's start going through the other settings. And yeah, just editing wise, again, just look at what you're doing while you're changing the settings. If you go too far, just dial back and you go from there. I think this is a good way to do it, is not to be afraid of pushing those dials. They're there for a reason. You can reset them, just go boom, you're done, you go back to where you were. If you want to reset the whole panel, you do, like you just press here. If you're lazy, you want to see how Lightroom would edit, just press on auto and it will tell you what it thinks the edit should be, and then you go from there as well. Sometimes it's quite correct, sometimes it's way off. So it's just a matter of working through it and finding the edit that you like. Again, I keep saying this, but it's true. The way the picture will be edited is personal preference. There's no right or wrong. So yeah. Okay, saturation. Let's remove a little bit. Now the noise, I'm not going to do too much about the noise, to be honest with you. And since it's already too noisy, I'm not going to add any clarity. So I think I would be pretty happy with this edit. Maybe just raise the exposure even a little bit more. Yeah, one stop. Yeah, I think I would be happy with this, to be honest. So once again, pressing L once to dim the lights, press L twice to shut them down completely. And if you want to go full screen, just press F. And that would be my edit of this picture. And F again to go back to Lightroom. And that's all the pictures done under 4 minutes. Did you do it, Mark, under 4 minutes?
This next frame is from Ian McGuinness. Thanks for sending it in, Ian. And it is of Great Britain's Lily Hulland in action during the women's triple jump. I think this is day 2 of the Glasgow 2020 Spa British Athletics Indoor Championships at the Emirates Arena in Glasgow. So nice frame this. Bit of a tester, this one, because obviously there's some, with it being indoors, low light situation, really tricky to take this. I think Ian's done quite well to get this as good as he has. What we're looking at, we're on the EOS 7D, 118mm, ISO 1600, f2.8 at 1,000th. So could be a bit of a tricky one, this one. Let's have a go.
Right, let's go for a crop. Let's put our ratios back in. 7:5 we'll go. I said 3.5 by 2.5 here, but we'll go with 7:5. Same sort of ratio. Right, obviously not a lot we could have done with the backdrop. It is what it is. Indoors, it's always a nice tight. It's always a nice atmosphere, but it's really tight on the frame. So, especially the backdrops. There's another photographer stood there. Look, but you just can't escape it in these indoor events. So, don't really want to lose too much of this sand. Let's take it right to the edge of the frame. Now I'm looking at my horizon, which could be that BBC Sport, not sure. Could be this. Let's go with this line here. So we're not far off at that. My eye just get drawn to that BBC Sport banner, but I don't think that's quite level. I think Ian's almost spot on here. Yeah, I think that BBC is off a little bit. I'm just looking at this board. Just take that back. Just take it round a little bit. I'm going to go with that board more than the happy medium, I think. That's better. Right, I'm not sure what we can do. Obviously it's indoors, high ISOs. I've experienced it myself. Just got to go with what there is. I don't want to do too much sharpening or make it any grainier. So we'll just leave that for now. Let's have a look at the exposure. Give it a little bit more. Still pretty yellow, but let's just try a little bit of blue in there. That's probably it. Bit of contrast, not too much. Highlights are about there. Shadows. Not playing too much with the shadows because it'll bring that grain out. Keep an eye on this referee's shirt not blowing out. Clarity. I don't think we'll get away with much clarity, not without. Could even take it down a bit to take some of the grain out. Let's just look at vibrance. That's probably about it. It's so yellow in there. Which again, you just cannot escape it. Let's have a look at that. Do the old F trick. FNF. That's not too bad at that. Just going to bring the levels up. Might just go to 10, but then take the yellows back down again. See if we can get rid of a bit of that yellowness. That's looking better. Then back to the master. I mean, she might have a bit of a suntan, I don't know, but it's not too bad. Let's check the levels. Again, just dragging a bit and trying to see what works. No, that's a bit too dark. I'm quite happy with that actually. So I don't want to use any sharpening or too much. That's about the best, I think. Just checking for any spots, no spots. What's that there? Is that on? That's on my laptop screen, so that's all right. Again, I'm going to leave. I might just lose a little bit of sand, just a little bit, just to bring her more central. Let's just take her off a bit. Again, I wonder, this line is deceiving here because this spar box just looks a little bit off. That BBC is definitely not level. Just looking here too. Right, let's just try one more trick. Adjustments, brightness and contrast. Brightness, no, we don't want to do anything like that, I don't think. Again, you're just bringing that grain out. We're turning the yellow again. Let's just OK that and then Command Alt Z to take it back. Command Shift Z, bring it forward again. I'm quite happy with that, I think. I usually work in highlights on the colour balance. No. I think that's about there. Let's just have a look at the curves. Give it a bit of an S. No. Not a lot more we can do with that, I don't think. Let's just OK that, and then we'll just go Command Alt Z and take it back. Now it looks better before. Right, well I think that's about all we can do with that one. So hopefully you're happy with that, Ian. Let me know.
So that's the video done. I hope you guys liked it. It was a lot of fun to make. There's plenty of pictures left, so I'm hoping that we can do a second episode in the near future. Let us know what you think in the comments. Be sure to follow Mark's channel, don't forget, and subscribe to both of us if you aren't already, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Take care. Stay safe.